Hi, I'm Michael Accor, financial advisor and co-founder of fpPathfinder, and I want to share how you can become a more diligent advisor by using checklists and flowcharts. Our job as advisors is complicated. There are so many important rules, regulations, and strategies to stay on top of that advisors run the risk of simply forgetting a planning issue. And just when advisors think they have all the rules and planning issues figured out, the rules change. Then there are a whole new list of planning issues to address with clients. So at the end of the day, the advisor is spending a lot of time researching and studying just to stay on top of all of the issues. FP Pathfinder addresses these issues, and we do that with two different tools. The first is checklists. These help identify financial planning issues, and we currently have over 30 checklists available to help you serve your clients better and run your firm more efficiently. Some checklists cover life events, like issues to consider before retiring, or issues to consider before getting married or having a child. We also have other checklists that can be used each and every year, such as issues to consider during an annual client review meeting, or issues to consider at the end of the year. This is an example of one of our checklists. Each are 2 pages long and cover 20 to 30 planning issues. These are not operation-based checklists. These focus on planning issues. Each is written so you can easily read it to the client or present it to the client to identify planning opportunities. As an advisor, using these checklists with your client allows you to walk them through very complicated situations in a friction-free way, and it demonstrates to clients all the aspects you are actively considering for their finances. What we do as advisors is complex, and besides just making our jobs easier, these checklists are an excellent way to demonstrate your value to clients. Also, depending on your membership level, all of these resources can be white labeled to match your brand. You can add your logo and change the color palette. You can download them as a PDF or complete them online and send the completed checklist note to the contact record in your CRM. And we're going to get to a demo on that in just a bit. So now let's talk a little bit about flowcharts. Right now we have over 40 flowcharts, and we continue to add to our resources monthly. So this number is always going up. Flowcharts are powerful because they help to illustrate the various decisions clients must consider, such as issues to consider before rolling over a dormant 401k. And then there are other flowcharts that summarize the rules, such as the rules around making a Roth IRA contribution or making an HSA contribution. This is a brief sample of some of our flowcharts. We have lots of advisors that are using these resources to help answer retirement planning questions and questions around Social Security. Here's a specific example of one of our flowcharts. And I share this one with you because as an advisor, I personally struggled to answer this question for many of my clients. As a new advisor, I couldn't keep the rules straight for IRA and Roth IRA contributions. I would try to answer the client's question, but it seemed more often than not that I had to call the client back to clarify their situation. Maybe they didn't have earned income, but their spouse did. Or maybe they had earned income, but were not participating in an employer retirement plan. It's pretty exhausting, right? And it's not just new advisors who need checklists and flowcharts. As a more experienced advisor, it can be easy to forget a rule or not be aware of a change that has been made for a planning topic, like IRA contribution rules. Those have changed. And so out of desperation, I put together this exact flowchart to help me guide my clients, stay up to date, and be confident I was giving accurate advice in a clear and consistent manner. Some advisors like to use these resources behind the scenes. They see checklists and flowcharts as their secret sauce. But other advisors incorporate these into their marketing efforts because they want to show the client and their prospects how diligent they are in their planning efforts. And for them, they can white label the resources, just like you see here. There are a lot of benefits to using checklists and flowcharts to help you be more diligent in the planning process. They can be used to assist in the decision-making process or as a quick introduction to a new concept that you might be unfamiliar with. If you're a new advisor just getting into the business, this can be used as a study tool. Or if you're a veteran advisor, these can be tools to help you remember the odd rule that you only come across every so often. At the very least, they could be a quick reference that you keep on your desk or on your computer. They allow you to answer client questions a lot faster, or maybe they're just used to illustrate a concept to help educate the client. There are dozens of uses, and it's an exciting tool to have in your back pocket as an advisor. One benefit I find to be particularly interesting is that it helps to show actual complexity of what we as advisors do to help our clients. And using these resources, we can uncover more planning opportunities and avoid careless errors. Now, we have some exciting news. We've developed an integration with Wealthbox CRM to make it easier and faster for our Premier members to use our interactive checklists with their clients. To set the stage, it might help to share a story. When a pilot is flying an airplane, they're using a checklist. In fact, pilots have been using checklists for decades. They have a checklist for just about every conceivable thing that could happen. Here's the thing. Years ago, these checklists were written down and kept in a binder, kind of like what you see in this image. The problem is that it takes the pilot time and effort to flip around and find the right checklist to use. And that makes things unsafe because the pilot may try to solve the problem following the steps from their memory instead of going through the checklist. So over the last few years, checklists have evolved. Pilots don't carry around binders anymore. Instead, they have an app on their tablet, and all of those checklists are stored there. So when a pilot's landing a plane and they get to the step that says deploy landing gear, but the landing gear doesn't go down, the pilot taps emergency on their app, then selects the landing gear will not deploy checklist. And so in 2 steps, the pilot has the guidance they need to get the plane on the ground safely. While on the surface, it's about making the experience faster and easier for pilots, ultimately, it's making the experience safer for pilots and passengers. Advisors have something in common with pilots. We have to be diligent at all times, even as the rules and laws change and new planning opportunities arise. It's easiest to compare the experience by looking at what happens when a client calls us to say, my wife just passed away. What should I do next? You know what a lot of advisors do? They put the client on hold and frantically search on Google for guidance. Maybe the information's up to date, maybe it's complete, and maybe it's accurate. And maybe the advisor types a note into their CRM. fpPathfinder changes that. Our members can launch a checklist from within their CRM and provide guidance to their client within a few clicks. The checklist can be completed entirely online. The advisor can check the boxes, and notes can be added for each of the questions asked. And when the advisor is done, they can send the completed checklist note back to the client record with one click. Now, there is a record of the conversation, and that helps the advisor when they have to follow up later. So here is how interactive checklists work with Wealthbox CRM. First, you go to the contact record, you scroll down to the contact details and click Send To. From there, select fpPathfinder. And up comes the list of checklists. They are sorted by broad category. Life events ranging from having a child, retiring, or buying a house. There are recurring checklists that can be used on a regular or yearly basis, such as issues to consider during an annual client review meeting. There are timely checklists that may be particularly relevant at that moment. Tax-related checklists during tax time and end-of-year related checklists for the end of the year. Then there's also urgent checklists. These are the ones that address the most pressing issues a client may experience, such as a death of a spouse or loss of a job. These are the ones that advisors can use when their clients are in most need of guidance. Once the checklist has been selected, the advisor can go through to check the boxes, click the information icons to get more details, or add notes for each of the probing questions. And when they're done, the advisor has a note that summarizes the questions and answers. From there, the advisor can send it to Wealthbox CRM with one click, or print it out, or copy the text. If the advisor sends the note back to Wealthbox CRM, the note shows up in the activity stream of the client record. So if you're ready to implement fpPathfinder with Wealthbox, here are a few best practices. You pick 1 to 2 resources to incorporate into your business. Start small. Familiarize yourself with the checklists before you start using them with clients. Add a few resources into your service calendar. A great one to start with is the annual client review checklist to check in each year with your clients. Or use the tax return checklist in April or May to proactively plan with your clients and make tax season just a little less stressful. For some of our membership levels, advisors can white label the resources. Finally, advisors and other team members, if you have them, can document conversations with their clients for future reference, whether it's for follow-up or for compliance purposes. I end with this. The checklists have doubled my client meeting efficiency by adding structure and a detailed process to our meetings. This is really what we are trying to do for advisors. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at support@fppathfinder.com or just log on to fppathfinder.com to learn more. Thank you so much.